Sweet like howdy, it's me, Capain Funzis, and today we're doing something a little bit different. So I had the idea of doing like a top 10 list just for the end of the year, you know. So I thought I'd do like my top 10 favorite games of 2015. So yeah, here we go. This is Capain Funzis top 10 games of 2015. Number 10. So I'll start with Polybridge. I thought it was a good place to start off anyway. So Polybridge is kind of like a bridge building simulator game. I kind of thought that it was pretty cool. With like most of them you just build a bridge, that's it. But with this one you have like drawbridges and crazy jumps and stuff. Definitely a green light game to check out. Number 9. So in at number 9 is City Skyline. City Skyline is kind of like SimCity, but I would say it's a little bit better, especially since SimCity came out this year or last year. I can't remember. It was shit anyway. Didn't work on day one, stuff like that. But that's not the point of the list. Basically, City Skyline, you play as this mayor in charge of like this huge city that you build, and yeah, you have to manage like transport and garbage and electricity and water and all that kind of stuff. Pretty cool game. Number 8. So in at number 8 is Grow Home. Grow Home is a really, really cool game. And basically you play as this little robot dude called Bud, and he does actually seem a little bit drunk when you play the game. I played it on my channel, it was pretty cool. And basically you have to get Bud to this plant called like the star plant, I think it is, and you have to grow this star plant up into the sky as high as you can. Yeah, it's definitely a game worth a play. Number 7. So in at number 7 is Adventure Capitalist. It's kind of like a cookie clicker kind of a game, but probably one of the best clicker kind of games that I've ever played. Not just this year, but probably ever. Mainly because you can actually eventually get enough money and you can build like a spaceship. You don't actually see the spaceship, but you then fly to the moon and start a new business there and start building up your moon monies. Definitely a time wasting game. It's awesome. Number 6. So for my number 6 pick is Dying Light, which came out like right at the start of the year. I would say probably one of the best zombie killing games this year. Then you've got like the crafting element of it as well, so you can craft cool weapons and like mod your weapons to have like fire on it and cool stuff like that. And as well as the day and the night kind of deal thing, where the zombies become slightly more difficult at night time, which actually means you get more XP and it's easier to build up your awesome weapons. Definitely a really hard game to master, but really fun to play at the same time. Number 5. So in at number 5 is a car game actually, which is something I don't very often play on my channel, but this one I did. It's called Absolute Drift. One of the best car games of this year, I would say. The only thing about it I didn't like was the fact that it was really hard to get into it for the start. The car was really difficult to drive and stuff like that. But after you do get a handle on the game, it's probably one of the most addictive games I've played. Just drifting that car. The soundtrack is amazing on that as well. Quite addictive, not just for the gameplay, but also the soundtrack. Number 4. Oh, in at number 4 is a pretty awesome game. Just probably one of the best building games of the year. Kerbal Space Program. Basically, you build crazy NASA reject programs, the spaceships, try to fly them into the sky, and actually just crash them really hard into the ground. It's a really in-depth game. If you want to get into it, if you want to spend a lot of time on it, you could waste your life on this game. You can fly to different planets. You can orbit Earth, or Kerbal as it's called in the game. Definitely want to check out, even if you've just got like 10 minutes, build a one, blow it up, and then go back to it later. Pretty awesome game. Really easy to get a hang of after maybe like an hour or something. This game did actually come out last year, but it came out of beta this year, so it's on my list as kind of a half. It's on there because I said so. Number 3. So number 3 is actually the only sports title on my list. It's not really a sports title, but I'm putting it in the category of sports titles. It is Rocket League, and it is the best sports game of the year. This is such an awesome game. It's such an awesome concept as well. Like driving cars into a giant ball, trying to score goals. Is basically like football that we call here, or soccer if you're in like America or Canada and things like that. Places like that. Yeah, so it's basically like FIFA with a giant car. Sorry, a car and a giant ball. Definitely worth like however much it costs. It's definitely worth it. Number 2. So in at number 2 is probably one of the biggest games that I played on my channel. It got so many views. It's not the only reason that it's on this list though. Life is Strange. Like, if this is the way that gaming's going, I'm okay with that, because this is an amazing game. It was only knocked off the number one spot because of number 1. I'll tell you that later. It's coming up in a couple of minutes. Yeah, so this game's based on like a girl that can rewind time, and yeah, she gets put in weird situations and stuff like that. But definitely worth a check out. It's really story driven. It's probably about 10 hours altogether if you want to play it. It was taken out episodically, and that is the only thing I did not like about this game. That and the alternate ending that I didn't take. But yeah, definitely worth a check out. So now I'm going to tell you some of the games that didn't quite make the cut for various reasons. So it's kind of like honorable mentions or something like that. So there's actually 3 honorable mentions. There is GTA 5, Fallout Shelter, and Prison Architect. So these are just games that didn't make the list, or were like GTA. They came out on PC this year. GTA came out on PC this year, so it's on the list, but it's not on the main list, if that makes sense. I'm speaking shite, never mind. It's only on this list because it came out on PC. It came out on consoles years ago. You all know what GTA 5 is. It's all over YouTube. Just go and watch. I've got a whole playlist. I've got like 20 videos or something. I think it's about 15, but yeah, there's about 15 videos of me and actually James playing some GTA 5. So yeah, Fallout Shelter I didn't put on the list because it was an iOS game. Fallout Shelter is actually an awesome game. You can have to build your own vault, and you take in settlers and build your kind of huge, awesome vault up that way, and you have to get food, and you have to get water, and you have to get something else, and yeah, it's definitely a time wasting game if you're just chilling. You're not in the house playing on your console or on your PC. But yeah, definitely a good game, and it did not make the list. 1, because it is a mobile game and I don't really like mobile games, and 2, it did not work on my phone. And the final honorable mention is Prison Architect. This didn't make the list because I actually got bored of this game, but when I did play it, and I actually booted up the other day and played like 2 hours of it, you can get lost in this game. This was actually one of the first games I bought when I got my laptop, when I first got Steam, maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember. Anyway, when I got my laptop, that was the first thing I bought, was Prison Architect, and obviously I've built my giant rig since then. But yeah, when I bought Prison Architect, I played it like 100 hours in like a month, not even a month. It's an awesome game. It just kind of got lost in my Steam list of games, and I've kind of never really gone back to it apart from that 2 hours I played the other day. But definitely worth a check out. It came out of beta this year, and that's why it's on the honorable mentions. And finally, number 1. So my number 1 pick could be nothing else but Fallout 4. I love the Fallout series from 3 onwards. I never really played 1 and 2, and I can't remember the other one. But 1 and 2 I never played, but 3, New Vegas, and obviously 4 now are probably 3 of my favourite games ever. So Fallout 3 is definitely my game of the year, because not only do you have the main story, but you also have the hundreds and hundreds of side quests and thousands of awesome locations to explore through the giant wasteland and past the giant wasteland, as some people have shown on YouTube, with the extra bit at the bottom that they've created that's off the map, which is probably it's pretty cool. I just genuinely feel that nothing else came close to Fallout 4 that I played this year. You might have played something that was slightly better. Obviously the Game Awards didn't give it to Fallout 4, they gave it to The Witcher, but I've never really been into The Witcher games. So Fallout 4 is my game of the year, and I'll probably still be playing it this time next year, and I'm not going to be able to put it on the list, even though it's going to be my most played game over the next year and a half. It's just one of them games that you can just go on forever and ever and ever. So guys, that is the end of my top 10 games of 2015. I just wondered if you agree with what I have said here. If you disagree, if it's some games should be higher, some games should be lower. If you didn't even think some of these games should have been on my list. Either way, hit me up in the comments, tell me what you think. So I'm just going to say thank you for liking and sharing this video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel if you've not subscribed already. And I will see all of you in the next video. Bye now!